What's a Predalien gotta do to get some closure around here? With Badlands, we're up to 9 movies of Predator mayhem. So here's a full recap of where all these ugly mother effers ended up. Predator follows an elite team of mercenaries on a rescue mission deep in the heart of a guerrilla-controlled area in Central America. The team, led by ex-Special Forces Major Alan Dutch Schaefer, quickly finds unexpected helicopter wreckage, a slew of skinned corpses, and evidence of a killer that leaves no tracks. They make quick work of a group of insurgents, taking one unarmed female insurgent, Anna, captive. As the mercenary team moves forward, the unseen foe starts to pick off members one by one.
You ain't afraid of no man.
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
Anna tells Dutch of a local legend, a creature that hunts humans for sport. Eventually, only Dutch and Anna remain, and Dutch realizes the creature only targets armed prey. He sends Anna off alone so she'll be safe from its attacks. Dutch becomes covered in mud, discovering that the mud allows him to hide from the entity as it moves on. Dutch is able to damage its cloaking device, but he is still overcome by the creature, aka the Predator, more accurately known as a Yautja. It drops its armor and weapons for a fair fight, and Dutch nearly loses before catching the Predator in a trap. The fallen Yautja activates a self-destruct device. Dutch narrowly escapes, fleeing just before the creature's self-destruction. As our introduction to the species, Predator demonstrates a number of characteristics of the creature. Visually, they're adorned in seemingly light but powerful armor, and have menacingly tough alien bodies. They have a high-technology spacefaring civilization with an advanced and distinct language, deadly weapons, cloaking technology, and they're smart, strong, adaptive warriors who can spot and create traps. The Yautja are here killing armed prey for sport, often hunt alone, skin their quarry, and take trophies. If their hunt fails and they're facing death, they'd rather kill themselves than lose. At this point in the franchise, we can only infer that such a hunt was the Predator's sole motivation for traveling to Earth. The second film shifts the action into urban territory. A gang war brings the involvement of LAPD Lieutenant Mike Harrigan and his team. The cops barge into a hideout to find a Colombian gang slaughtered, and Harrigan follows the panicked survivor to the roof to see the vague, transparent silhouette of a large, semi-invisible man. At his precinct, Harrigan is introduced to Special Agent Keyes, the leader of a task force investigating the cartels. That night, another gangland killing is interrupted by the Predator. Harrigan and his team investigate the scene of the crime and find an alien spear. Keyes enters and threatens Harrigan to stay away, but Harrigan returns and pursues the Predator. He's captured by Keyes' team, who explains that the Predator is a camouflaged alien hunter who prowls areas with armed conflict.
Drawn by heat and conflict, he's on safari. Lions, the tigers, the bears. Oh my.
Keyes' team sets a trap, but they're easily overcome by the Yautja. Harrigan pursues the alien himself. The fight between the Predator and Harrigan continues downward into tunnels beneath the city, where Harrigan discovers the Yautja spacecraft in its skull-adorned trophy room, which happens to include a skull that looks like it belongs to a xenomorph from the Alien franchise. He manages to kill the Yautja with its own weapon, causing a group of predators to appear who collect the fallen alien and present Harrigan with a trophy. Predator 2 made a number of important leaps for our understanding of the mythos of the predators. First, it widened the scope of the types of warrior combatant prey we know predators hunt, and showed that they're as willing to hunt in crowded city centers as they are in remote combat zones. While the film added new weapons to their arsenal, it also shows that lone hunter Yautja don't travel to a planet unobserved. Other hunters will take the body of a fallen comrade home upon its failure to self-destruct, a unique evolution of their culture that adds significant ritual to their hunts. The film also explains the species' propensity to travel to this planet to hunt humans for sport, particularly in combat zones, and that at least some groups in the government are aware of the predation. Finally, in showing the ship's trophy room and the xenomorph skull within it, it suggests that the alien and predator worlds take place in the same universe, and that the Yautja hunt xenomorphs too, the first cinematic introduction of that concept. In 2004's Alien vs. Predator, wealthy industrialist Charles Bishop Wayland assembles a team to investigate a mysterious heat signature beneath an island north of Antarctica. Meanwhile, a Predator ship reaches Earth's orbit and fires an energy beam straight at the heat signature's location, creating a tunnel to its source, an ancient pyramid. The team finds a tunnel, as well as evidence of ancient humans in what seems to be sacrificial chambers. The team unintentionally activates devices within the pyramid, reanimating a xenomorph queen from stasis, who produces a host of xenomorph eggs. Facehuggers attach to humans trapped in the sacrificial chamber, quickly maturing into adult xenomorphs. Conflict erupts and escalates between the xenomorphs, humans, and the Yautja, and one of the Yautja, known as Scar, finds himself attacked by a facehugger. Hieroglyph translations reveal that predators have been visiting Earth for thousands of years and were once worshipped as gods. They periodically return as part of a hunting ritual where humans are sacrificed to produce xenomorphs as prey. Wayland team guide Lex and Scar form an alliance, planting Scar's self-destruct device in the xenomorph hive to destroy the remaining xenomorphs and eggs. The Queen survives, but the pair ultimately defeat her, though Scar dies from wounds received in battle. A predator ship uncloaks and the Yautja present Lex with a spear, then take Scar's body before ascending. The film ends as we watch a Predalien, a combination of predators and aliens, burst from his chest. AVP Requiem begins exactly where AVP left off, with a hatched Predalien emerging from Scar's fallen body, rampaging through the craft and crashing it outside a Colorado town. The ship's distress signal is received by the elite predator Wolf, who travels to Earth to eradicate the Predalien and any facehuggers that escaped. On Earth, a number of facehuggers find hosts, while Wolf lands and starts to clean up evidence of the alien menace. Wolf tracks a number of xenomorphs into the town's sewers, and several escape into the town above. Meanwhile, several humans regroup at a local sporting goods store. Wolf and xenomorphs enter and battle inside the store as the surviving humans escape. The survivors contact the military and are directed to the center of town for evacuation. The human survivors split off, with some moving to use the hospital's helicopter to escape the area. The hospital splinter group finds a building overrun by xenomorphs and the Predalien, and Wolf arrives to kill a number of the xenos, losing a blaster in the process. The humans grab the blaster and conflict rages between them, the xenomorphs, and Wolf. The human survivors fight their way to the roof, board the chopper, and take off, all while Wolf and the Predalien engage in final combat on the roof, mortally wounding each other. Meanwhile, the military has lied about the evacuation and instead bombs the city to eliminate the alien threat. The shockwave crashes the escaping hospital helicopter, where the remaining survivors are rescued by waiting military forces. Soon, Wolf's recovered plasma blaster is presented to a woman named Miss Yutani. Building directly off its predecessor, Requiem shows that predators will call on the assistance of others in case of emergency, and the species will sometimes attempt to clean up evidence of their activities. Additionally, they seem intent on preventing xenomorphs from escaping to dominate a planet. We also see Wolf use weapons that we have not seen in use by other Yautja, including the Yautja whip, laser mines, and the power punch glove that amplifies a predator's punching power. Finally, we see an extraterrestrial plasma pistol given to Miss Yutani of the Yutani Corporation. The company's 2099 merger with the Wayland Corp produced the Wayland-Yutani Corporation we see in the Alien films. Predators begins with mercenary Royce waking up while parachuting into an unfamiliar jungle alongside several other humans. As it turns out, they're all armed and lethal killers, except for one, a doctor named Edwin. When night comes, they see an alien sky, for the first time realizing they're no longer on Earth. The makeshift teammates soon find themselves attacked by four-legged extraterrestrial beasts before a whistle calls them off. The team discovers a captive predator, but are soon attacked by three massive super predators known as a Tracker, Berserker, and Falconer. The human team flees and eventually encounter Ronald Nolan, a lone US soldier who survived on the alien planet by looting and hiding. Nolan reveals the planet is a predator game reserve where Yautja train against deadly warriors and creatures. There, the predators hunt in threes, and the smaller and larger Yautja feud.
The larger ones hunt the smaller ones. It's some kind of blood feud, I guess, been going on for a long time.
Conflict between the predators and the humans eventually kills Nolan, several team members, and the Tracker and Falconer Yautja. Edwin becomes injured and Isabel refuses to leave him, but Royce moves on to free the captured Yautja in hope of escape. The smaller Yautja activates a ship and programs it to return to Earth. The Berserker arrives, kills the smaller Yautja, and blows up the ship. Royce returns for the others and discovers Edwin has revealed himself to have been a serial killer back on Earth. Knowing Edwin's far more than an innocent doctor, Royce uses him as grenade-trapped bait. The Berserker triggers the trap and Royce and Isabel kill it. The film ends with the pair looking at the alien sky as more parachutes fall. Predators adds a large array of elements to the mythology of the Predator universe. First, and perhaps most notably, is that the Predator species has two distinct subspecies with a long history of antagonism and a considerable size difference. The smaller group is often referred to as the Jungle Hunter clan, while the super predators are larger and more muscular. We also learn that while Jungle Hunter Yautja frequently travel across the galaxy to hunt various prey, super predator Yautja have a planet of unknown location where they regularly deposit and hunt dangerous species. This is also the first instance in the film series where Yautja are seen hunting with quadrupedal animals, a facet of their hunting culture that hasn't yet been shown on screen. Finally, there's the case of Edwin. The Yautja have long been known to hunt armed combatants in combat zones, situations where predation is easily visible for a predator to track, find, and hunt armed prey. With Edwin, we discover that the predator's methods of reconnaissance are much more sophisticated, as they were able to discover that he was a killer, despite his methods being less visible than the armed combatants that predators typically hunt. The Predator opens with one Yautja ship fleeing another before crash landing on Earth, interrupting Army Ranger Quinn McKenna's mission. The alien attacks his team before he incapacitates it with its weaponry and flees with Yautja armor. McKenna manages to send the technology home. When he returns, he's interrogated by agents from Project Stargazer and put on a military prison transport. Biologist Casey Brackett arrives at a Stargazer research lab to investigate the captured Predator body and the inexplicably spliced DNA its body contains. The Predator wakes up, rampages, and flees. McKenna and other soldiers hijack their prison transport, meet up with Brackett, and proceed to McKenna's house. They discover that McKenna's autistic son Rory has found the Yautja armor and left the house actually wearing it. McKenna and the soldiers eventually find the boy before the Predator, and the three attempt to give the Predator its armor back before a larger, more powerful Predator emerges and kills the first. The humans flee, and Brackett gathers that the Predators may be attempting to improve themselves through genetic engineering.
If I'm right, it means they're trying to upgrade themselves.
The group is discovered and interrogated by government agent Will Traeger and his agents, who've taken Rory upon discovering that he gained knowledge of the aliens. McKenna and his escaped soldiers ambush Traeger's agents before being ambushed by the larger Predator in turn. The larger Predator takes Rory to his ship, seeing his unique mind as an adaptation worthy of genetic incorporation, and attempts to take off before McKenna's allies ground the ship, and the Yautja is killed with its own weapons. The film ends with the discovery that the first smaller Predator was transporting a human-sized piece of advanced Predator armor to Earth, labeled a Predator Killer suit. The Predator reveals that at some point the Yautja species began genetic engineering to incorporate the strengths of other species into their DNA. The two Predators we encounter are both genetically engineered, but have wildly different attributes. Additionally, the film implicitly folds Alien vs. Predator into the Predator franchise through its highlighting a weapon exclusive to that film. We also discover that the human-Yautja hybrid was on a mission to deliver the advanced human-sized Predator killer armor, presumably to give humanity an advantage against a possible future invasion. The reason for this gift may be due to sympathies resulting from that specific Predator being partially human. But at least we know that the intentional hybridization of the Yautja species is yet another major development in the Predator mythos. Way before McKenna went trick-or-treating with hybrids, long before Dutch ever insulted a jungle hunter in steamy Central America, a Predator descended to Earth to hunt Comanche in the Great Plains. 2022's Prey reinvigorated the Predator franchise by stripping it down to the bone. Set in 1719, it centers on Naru, a young woman trying to step out of the shadow of her older brother and prove her value to the tribe. It's only when she herself becomes prey to a much greater threat that she gets a chance to prove her worth as a predator. The feral predator we see here is a ruthless elemental Yautja with more primitive weapons befitting the environment. In Naru, he locks horns with the essence of why humans have always been such annoying prey. Not just skilled in combat, but quick-thinking, observant monkeys who use a predator's own strengths against them. Naru gets the upper hand when she realizes that the creature uses heat vision, so she lowers her body temperature with a medicinal flower. Then she steals his helmet and lures the predator into a trap, using the tracking system on the helmet to trick the predator into shooting himself. Hunting predators isn't easy. In fact, it's probably downright terrifying. But just like Dutchwood 270 years later, Naru shows us that a predator's true Achilles heel is courage. We mean, yeah, she still had to outsmart it, and a little bit of luck never hurts. But it's the hero's resolve, the willingness to go back and finish the fight, that covers the final inch and ends with the Yautja face down in the mud. When the sun rises, Naru is transformed. She returns to the village painted in Ninja Turtle ooze and carrying the head of the Predator, a warrior for her people at last. But since this is a Predator movie, that happy ending isn't really the ending of the story. The illustrated credit sequence at the end of Prey concludes with a shot of 3 Predator ships appearing in the sky above the Comanche. Their intentions were never made clear, although now, in hindsight, it's possible that they were coming to collect a prize of their own. Predator Killer of Killers is framed as seemingly unrelated stories that merge into one thrilling climax. 3 warriors, 3 timelines. Ursa, tribal matron in 9th century Scandinavia. Kenji, skilled swordsman of feudal Japan, and John Torres, small in stature but a quick-thinking ace pilot from World War II. After defeating predators in each of their respective times, they're put into cryo-sleep aboard a predator ship and taken to a distant planet to fight each other and prove their worth in combat once and for all.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Don't make me!
Their reward for winning? They get to fight this guy. Their reward for beating that guy? Probably fighting someone else. Fighting is like the only thing that gets predators out of bed in the morning. But we don't get to go that far into predator culture. Ursa, Kenji, and Torres realize that each of their own unique set of skills is more effective when combined with the others. They stop fighting themselves and team up on their predator captors. The ending of Killer of Killers is one of hope, but also of dread. There's a glorious catharsis when the heroes set aside their differences and overcome the language barriers to go to town on the predators, but it still leads to a bittersweet finale. Ursa is still in captivity after heroically leaping out of the ship to save the other two. Kenji and Torres are out of the frying pan, but still feeling the heat of the fire at best. And then there's the twist. That twist. When Ursa's wheeled into a futuristic Raiders of the Lost Ark warehouse stacked with cryopods, we see some familiar faces. Naru, Harrigan, and Dutch, who have been captured after the events of their movies and held in stasis until they too can prove whether they are in fact killers of killers. Finally, we have the newest installment in the franchise, Predator Badlands. In this one, we follow Dek, a Yautja runt who's almost killed by his own father for being such a weakling. Luckily for him, his brother steps in to defend him and gets himself killed instead, giving Dek enough time to escape to a planet called Genna, which is also referred to by Yautja as the Death Planet. It's here that Dek hopes to slay an apex predator that even his own badass father is afraid of, the Kalisk. If he can succeed, he can prove himself worthy to his clan. Things don't go as expected on Genna, though. Turns out they weren't being hyperbolic when they called it the Death Planet. Almost every living thing there wants to kill Dek, even the plants. In fact, he's almost toast when he comes across Thea, a Weyland-Yutani synthetic who lost her bottom half when she and the rest of her android pals were attacked by the Kalisk. She and her sort of evil twin Tessa were the only survivors. After saving him, she proposes a team-up. If he helps her get her legs back, she'll help him successfully navigate Genna and defeat the Kalisk. He's not game at first.
Well, good luck with your journey.
But he eventually gives in and throws her on his back. Along the way, they run into a little alien who takes quite a liking to Dek, enough to spit on him and thus mark him as family forever. Thea decides to call her Bud. While this might seem random, we eventually find out that Bud is actually the child of the mighty Kalisk, which is ultimately what saves Dek when he's about to get killed by the creature, since it now thinks of him as family after giving him a sniff. This is also when we find out that the Kalisk has regenerative abilities, and that is why Thea and the other synthetics were sent to Genna in the first place. Weyland-Yutani wants to use the Kalisk to create a superdrug that will benefit all of humanity. Since Dek is more or less in their way, Tessa and her squad of synthetics capture him alongside the Kalisk and plan to use him in some way as well. Of course, he's able to escape and formulate a plan to save Thea and Bud's mother. He and Bud then team up and do just that, except Tessa ends up killing the Kalisk before they're able to defeat her. After the dust settles, Thea and Bud accompany Dek to Yautja Prime as his newfound family and watch him kill his father. The last thing we see is Dek's mother appearing in a spaceship on the horizon. How will she feel about her son killing her hubby? Guess we'll just have to wait for the next installment to find out.